Hi everyone, I am Stephanie Wicker. I'm a behavior consultant in Sydney, Australia. And today I wanted to be talking about why your child's behavior is not their fault. All right. I think that this is a very, very important topic for us to talk about because what I find is that during challenging behaviors, a lot of parents and child carers and educators, we tend to feel very overwhelmed in the moment. And it's almost like we disconnect from that child. Why are you always doing that? And why are you always so difficult? And why are you hitting your friends? You know not to do that, right? So we're not allies. Like we become almost very aversive to one another, to that child is what I mean. So what I wanted to talk about today is something that I think is incredibly important for anyone who spends a lot of time with kids. So whether you are a parent or you're an educator or you're a nanny, this will be very beneficial information, I think, for you moving forward, because what I would love to see is that a child is having a hard time and you are able to remain allies and you're able to remain connected and to recognize that they're having a very hard time right now. So let me give you an example of what I mean by behavior is not their fault. So basically, children act out in order to get their needs met. Now, if you think about it, everyone's behavior from their point of view, from their perception, we can always justify what we're doing. We can always explain away why we did what we did. Now, with children do literally what is the best option available to them, okay? So the whole morals and ethics thing, that doesn't really mean anything to them. So basically, something is right if it works, and something is wrong if it doesn't work. And it's just that simple. So if you find that your 4-year-old has discovered that lying is really effective, and he or she are lying and sneaking and hiding things, well, from their perspective, from their point of view, and remember that their brain is still very, compared to ours, is still very underdeveloped. So they have a lot more developing to do before they actually have their own concepts of true morals. That comes with time, and that is shaped through what's effective and what's not effective in our early years. And then on top of that, what we're taught, like what we're told throughout our life and what society teaches us. So that's not really necessary to go into. I just want to explain to you that at this point in their development, what is right is what works, and what is wrong is what doesn't work. Okay, so if lying and sneaking and hiding things works, and she finds that she or he, they're able to sneak chocolate in their bed if they hide it under their covers and mommy and daddy don't know, to them that's not wrong. It's totally right. It totally works. It's effective. And it's really that simple. And once we understand that kids do things that work, they don't do things to intentionally bother us. They don't do things to get revenge. That doesn't come until later. So, teens, there you go. Then we'll talk about that. But when children are, under 6 and 7 years old, then really all they're doing is what is effective. Okay, so kids act out to get their needs met. So that's really, really important to understand. So let me give you another example. So we talked about lying and sneaking and hiding, but let's talk about something that's very, very common, especially in younger kids who are like 2 to 4, biting. Biting is a big one. I think that's like everyone's nightmare. My kid is the biter at the preschool, right? And it's just the worst thing ever. And I must be a horrible parent. Why else would they be biting everyone? And people think I can't control my own kid. So this is a big one. This is a real doozy, I think, for a lot of parents. So I really want to give you some comfort knowing that behavior is not your child's fault. And what's more than that, it's not your fault either. It's simply understanding their developmental needs and giving them replacement skills. So the reason that children bite a lot of the time is because it works. It's so effective. So if I want your toy and you're not giving it to me, maybe I try to grab it and you pull back and you don't give it to me, then guess what? If I bite you, you are going to drop that toy and you are going to run to the teacher. And then I am going to have free access to the toy. And just like that, it was effective. So it's not about being right or wrong to that toddler. or to that 3-year-old or 4-year-old who bit. Now, the reason that biting goes away over time, as children age, they rely less and less on aggression to get their needs met. And that's simply because of replacement skills such as language. As soon as a child can express themselves, give me that toy, I want a turn. As soon as kids do that, we tend to reinforce language really quickly because it's exciting. Oh, he's talking and it's wonderful. And I now know what she wants and what he's feeling right now. So it's really exciting. So we heavily reinforce language, which is excellent. That's so good. So because of that, language becomes the replacement option. And kids learn really, really quickly how effective it is. And then they just start to use that. So biting will fade out. However, if you are concerned about biting, you need to be actively teaching a replacement skill. So instead of blaming your child, why did you do that? It really hurts. You should not ever do that, right? Stop biting your friends. Unfortunately, that's just not effective because kids don't have the receptive skills to understand the reasoning, the cause and the effect and all of those things. They're still developing all of those skills. So what's much more effective is a replacement. So give them some kind of a replacement like asking, turn taking, self-regulation, coping, all of those kinds of things. So there are many, many ways to tackle these problem behaviors without blaming your child or blaming yourself for the challenging behaviors that you see that are very consistent and very common in early childhood.